Okay, you need to break eye contact. Here.
Maggie, stop.
I'm like nervous. This is bad.
Penny. Penny.
Stop.
All right, boys and girls, it is Friday. Today you're going to continue where you left off. First, you're going to be doing your free write. Of course, today's free write is your New Year's goals. If you have already set a New Year's resolution, you can use that. If you don't have any idea what a New Year's resolution is, don't worry. If you look at your free write today in your email, you'll notice that I define it for you. So I want you to put a lot of thought into this, and I want you to think about what are the things that you are going to be improving upon, or just things that you want to change for the better in 2019. It can be school. Usually what kids do is I try to have them do a school goal and do a personal goal. You can do it however you want to. As far as your informational text goes, yesterday you should have brainstormed just like I did. You should have then listed everything you can think of as an expert in whatever topic that you chose. Today you are going to finish that process up, and then what you're going to do is you're going to start grouping them together into sections. And don't worry, and later in this video, as soon as I'm done yapping here, I'll be yapping there so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Once we're done there, you are going to actually write your introduction, and I also have written an introduction today, so you'll get to see exactly what that looks like. Okay, so again, when I come in on Monday, if everything goes as planned, you should have at least a beginnings, probably a finished introduction. Please take your time with it, and what I want you to do is read it when you're done with it, because I want to make sure that it flows well. And I think a lot of you forget that when you write something, one of the key components to editing and revising is to read it out loud so that you can hear what it sounds like. Okay, we'll talk about how to edit as we go on Monday. All right, I hope you guys had a great first day back and have a great second day back and get a nice restful weekend, and I will see you on Monday. I'm videoing, right? So what you'll notice here is that since yesterday, if you focus right here, that I have a ton more topics, subgroups underneath the guitar. You can see there's just lots written there, even so much as that I had to go onto the next page, and I had some more facts there. All of these facts were in my head. Again, you have to be an expert. This shouldn't be something you spend a lot of time researching. Okay. We will have an opportunity to research, but I'll get to that at the end of this video. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to finish up this planning here. And I'm going to go ahead and highlight. You're going to finish up all this planning over here and up here. Okay. Make sure you get that finished, and you're going to want tons and tons of topics. And then what you're going to do is you're slowly going to start to write them over here. And you'll notice that as I started writing them down, I started fitting them together in topics. So for example, if you come over here, you'll see I have Fender, Gibson, Epiphone, Ibanez, Martin, and you can see what I did here is I wrote those in a couple more here under brands. Okay. Then I wrote down, let's see, Eddie Van Halen, and I crossed them off. Brian May, Eric Clapton, B.B. King. And you can see that here, I wrote down different players. Then you can see over the next one, I had types, electric, acoustic, classical, bass, 12-string, hollow bottom, solid body, flying V, double neck. And you can see here I crossed those out. So what I'm going to do is, all I'm doing is I'm breaking them up into my chapters. And that's what your first step is today. Well, maybe your second step. You're going to break them up into your subgroups. And we're going to call them chapters. And just to kind of show you what we're doing, and I'll do one here. So it's literally just, I take a word. You can see here I have got strings. So I'm going to go ahead and write strings. Right now, you're probably starting to figure out what I'm talking about. What this topic's going to be. There's a bridge, the body, the headstock. So right now I want you to think, what's the heading for this going to be? It's going to be parts of a guitar. Okay. Up here I've got, just to kind of, I've got like where they were created and who created them. There was a guitar-ish thing in Rome. There was a guitar in Egypt. There's guitars in England and in Spain. Persia had a guitar. There's a bunch of names for those too. I'm going to write those down in a second. So you can kind of get an idea of what my topics are going to be. Brands, players, types, parts, where they came from. Okay? So once you're done doing that and you get all of your groups together and you get everything crossed off, you may have one or two that don't fit, that you don't plug in yet. Those can be interesting facts that you add a little bit later. Okay? So once you get all this done, you're going to move to the next clean page. And you can see what I did is I wrote my table of contents. And all my table of contents is, and you don't have to write this, I'm just writing it up here so you see it. All this table of contents are your group headings, your subgroups. With one exception. And that is this one. This is your introduction, which you can see I wrote over here. Okay? And then you are going to have one other one down here. I've got 7. You can probably figure out what that is. So number 7 is going to be my conclusion. All right? Now, all we're doing here with the introduction, which is what we're going to write today. Again, you'll note that I have my date, upper right-hand corner. I have my heading. Some of you sent what you did yesterday, and good job with that. Kellen, specifically you, and Chase, you as well. Very nicely done. Make sure you get the heading and the date up there. And you can see I got the date, 1/4. And I wrote my introduction. And I'm going to make it big. I should have done that when I wrote it, but I didn't, so it's a little messy. But I'm going to go ahead and read this to you. All you're going to do is you're going to give me the hook. Which is the question that I wrote here. And then you're going to tell me everything that you're going to write. And it's not going to be a mystery of where that comes from. That comes from this. Okay? So it's going to look like this. All right? And this is what my introduction is going to sound like. Did you know that the oldest type of guitar was built over 3,500 years ago? That string instrument was built in ancient Egypt. Since then, so here you've got guitar inventions. Okay. Now I've got to talk about more of those inventions in modern guitars and types. Since then, there have been many different versions of guitars that eventually turned into the modern guitar. Each guitar has the same parts. Each guitar has the same parts, and many different companies make guitars. Today, when you turn on the radio, chances are you'll find a famous guitar player rocking out using one of the oldest instruments still being used today. Okay? Nice and simple. It hooks the reader. It lets you know everything that I'm going to be writing about. And then I'll be starting with my chapter 1, which will be, of course, guitar inventions. All right? So I want you to give this a try. When you get to this part, I want you to, again, make sure you have the hook and make sure you're adding in a neat flowing fashion all of your chapters. Okay? And of course, if you need help, you're more than welcome to ask the sub, or ask the sub if you can ask Miss Wismer. Okay? Great job. Thank you. Bye.